out, so it's on, and so you want to hold it and hold tight. Okay. All right. Be careful with that thing because that's a battery.
Finding your work beyond a paycheck is number 3. When I became disabled at the age of 33, I had to ask myself,
Yeah. Go
am I
ahead.
what I'm not working?
Alright, I think I can squeeze it in.
It took me time to find
This should be good.
Should be right, Brandon.
We already did.
Oh, so it's straight through for us?
More than just
Great.
earning money.
Thank you,
It's the best
Kenny.
feeling
Yeah,
in the
of course.
world. Number 4, connect with others like you and find
Am I in
time
your
to
way or
say
am I?
No, I don't actually have to see them.
Okay.
Having a chronic illness can be so isolating. Private Facebook groups and Twitter are great places to find a community, but also remember to frequently check in with family and friends in the quote-unquote real world because you need both for a healthy balance. Number 5, find time to be the person you were before chronic illness. Anything you used to be passionate about before can be simplified and done in 5-minute intervals so you don't become physically or mentally overwhelmed. Focusing on slowing down and enjoying the process instead of focusing on the quantity, end result, or how you used to be able to do it will help you get back to your creative endeavors. And this will help to make sure that you aren't just surviving a chronic illness, but actually living with one. If you'd like to hear more about living with chronic illness, you can listen to my 2-hour-long podcast called The Flare online at theflare.podbean.com or find The Flare on your Podbean, TuneIn Radio, or iTunes app on your phone. You can also find my blog and links to my art and Facebook page at smilenfeld.wordpress.com. That's SMIHLENFELD. Once again, I'm your host, Stacey Eilenfeld, and this is The Art of Recovery. See you next week.
Mike's live.
All right, I'm hoping this plays here a little bit. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to Playtime with Sid and Bill, featuring
Kerri Kendall.
and we've got kind of a strange little twist on things here today. From most people, we had this conversation, Sid. We had this conversation, you and I, most particularly, that and when you were on Man Cow, he sort of said in a really sort of obnoxious way, somewhat of a reality about the music the people are about to hear, that most people won't get this music unless they have some sort of context to it. You think?
Well, no, I think that's close. That is close. That's a close assumption. But I think if they put their eyes and their ears to it, I think they will be able to understand it.
Exactly. And that's what we wanted. We wanted this to be a little bit of a teachable moment. And I'm playing some. Let me just get that. I'm playing some Othar Turner. I don't know if you're familiar with Othar Turner.
I am not.
I believe he's from Mississippi.
Okay.
It's all improv, and there's I'll throw in a little bit extra here. Let me read this and it'll
At
give
a loss
people
for
some
words,
context.
huh?
Always,
good.
and
That's
that
great.
almost never happens.
I know.
Musical improvisation, also known as also known as musical extemporization, is a creative activity of immediate, in the moment musical composition, which combines performance with communication of emotions and instrumental techniques, as well as spontaneous response to other musicians. I sort of talk about it and our friend Brian Murray also does improv and noise music.
Right, we've played with him before.
Yes, you have. And we've all played together, at least some theatrical things. But it's about moments, it's about energy, it's about relationship. We talk a lot about the brain and what art and music does for the brain. And there are some music and creativity engages the language center of the brain.
Okay.
And that's communal.
Right.
So when people are engaged in improv music,
They're speaking the language.
they're speaking the language, and there's a community there,
Right.
and there's a lot of distance to cover, but you'll find within a composition at moments that community comes together, and that's really very unique that's very unique to music. First of all, because it is such a community activity. But am I hitting that right, Sid?
Yeah, you're pretty
Okay.
close.
You guys are a little bit different because you're a performance artist, for one. Secondly, this is sort of a unique aspect of noise music. You wanted to sort of describe what your genre is.
Well, I guess we're unclassifiable, as we're also been called other, and but we're closer to noise, I suppose.
I like the intersection of punk, comedy, and improv.
Yes, but there's also unstructured music, noise, and I guess free jazz is a good way. Free jazz is a good one too.
Okay.
Isn't that right, Slurve?
Yeah. And by the way, this form of music is I'm gonna lose the Facebook here. Enough with our turn. Wonderful as he is, but this form of music or this style of music is as ancient as music itself.
Right. It's also theatrical.
Yeah.
Because some of the things that happen at our shows, sometimes people think they're staged, and they're certainly not staged.
Yeah. But I mean, there's this goes. It was first documented in the medieval period.
Right.
In the 9th century, treatises instructed singers on how to add another melody to a pre-existent liturgical chant.
Yeah. Yeah. If we can, maybe we can demonstrate.
Why don't we? I think that's perfect.
Let's try to give an example. So, I should set up this story. A few years ago, we were playing at a pop-up gallery in the Loop, and I was actually playing with Dr. Nothing. We were in another band called Torque Monks, and while we were performing, somebody came in, and while we were performing, some woman came up and asked me, "Well, where's Walgreens?" And so, in a singing voice, I told her where Walgreens was, and so therefore, that became a composition. And so, to kind of demonstrate, I'd like to perform a little bit of Where's Walgreens, right?
All right.
You guys can have my mic here. I'm going to get out of the way.
For the moment.
All right.
Now, I'm conducting people using physical gestures, a system that I've created over a period of 3 years. There's over 85 to 100 gestures, and by this they interpret the gestures. So I think we should start this off. Say, Dr. Nothing, where's Walgreens?
Go 10 blocks north, 10 blocks south, 1 block east.
So, Rascal, tell me where's Walgreens?
Down the street on the corner.
Slurve, where's Walgreens?
Well, if you go over to Main Street, you might see one. If you go the right way.
Okay, so that's just, Bill, that's just one example of improvisation.
Okay. All right. So, give us some context, because Kerri and I were talking. I come to this as a little bit of an egghead. I think she comes to it.
That's
She comes to it from understanding music in a more traditional way.
Okay.
So let's sort of bridge that gap a little bit.
Okay. Where would you like to?
Okay,
Where would you
so
like me to
like
gap?
my
Yeah,
question,
yeah,
when we
yeah.
were talking about improvisational music, I thought to myself, okay, well, how is that different than a jam session? Because I've been to a lot of jam sessions where musicians are working together, but now that you've used the word unstructured music,
Right.
now it's making a little more sense how this is different than.
Okay.
And we're not a jam band because I use gestures, and gestures is conducting, so they not necessarily. Yeah, you can jump on different notes and things like that. But
So they do understand every hand gesture you're making. They're
why
following.
don't you come in and explain?
Sure.
Doctor.
So when you're jamming, people kind of have a preconceived notion of an expected flow that they're going to perform. We don't jump into an expected notion of what we're going to do, other than the fact that we have kind of like a theme for each title.
Like
And-
Walgreens.
Like Walgreens, so.
I still don't know where Walgreens is, so by the way, you might need it.
It's down the corner and to the left about 4 blocks, and then you make another left, and then you make another right, and then you make an intricate middle, and then you go straight in.
Fantastic. I don't know if I trust you on this,
Yeah, I
because you
would-
did
I would
say
Google map
unstructured.
Well, we all find a way to find ourselves at Walgreens some way or another.
Good answer.
So would you like to hear another one?
I would.
Okay, so you mentioned that this is a teachable moment. So I thought that it should be more teachable, then you two should be involved. So I'm giving each of you a windshield wiper blade,
Okay.
Yes.
and you're going to use those as percussion. So however you want to use it,
Okay.
just you can break them if you want. Yeah, you can do that too.
That was
You can do
exactly
too.
my thought.
Okay, so this is
Twinsies.
okay. So this is a composition I call "Man on the Sidewalk."
All right, Sid Yiddish and his candy store.
I don't know the hand gestures though. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll be fine.
All right.
Just follow them.
Oh, because you're gonna. Oh, okay.
Follow them.
Here.
So on my way to this gig we had on Friday night, there was this man who was laying lifeless on the sidewalk. No movement. Nobody bothered to help him. Even the bus driver told me, well, you can call if you want to. Nobody wanted to get involved. So there I stood, and I called 911. So the paramedics showed up, and so did the firemen. And they plucked that guy and they stuck him on a gurney.
How did you pick vitals?
They didn't even check vitals, no. Took him away, and the PTA construction worker I passed by told me Then he was lying there for over an hour. And I hung up.
All right. You're listening, well, if there's anybody still listening, by the way, no, I'm kidding. You're listening to Sid Yiddish and his candy store Henchmen here. We're talking about improv music, probably something that most of you have no experience with. And that one I thought was interesting because it really sort of did have some moments to it. And I noticed as I was kind of doing a fairly regular rhythm, but I noticed that there was some cool harmony between. I'm sorry.
This is Yitn Midl Fidl.
I know. I just every time I see the hair.
I should introduce
Every time I
them.
see the hair, I'm jealous.
I should introduce them to you. That's only proper, right?
60.
Okay. That is Dr. Nothing. That is the Slurve, and of course that is the man with the most potential,
Yes.
Yitn Midl Fidl.
But there was some synergy there, you know. Rascal and the Doctor, it all came together at some moments, which is really interesting, and that's sort of the essence of you know, or the basis of building music to begin.
Yeah.
So, hey, you're listening to Playtime with Sid and Bill featuring
Kerri Kendall.
and stick with us. We've got a lot more coming up. Mary Visconti from Fast is coming up, and Rascal Martinez. We'll be right back after this.
He's like, cracker, what? But I said that in show, and this black guy comes up to me, he was like, my cracker. And I was like, actually, you can't call me a cracker. Only we can call each other crackers. You can say cracker, but we are not.
Clear.
We're not like good. The next segment. Good. You want to go to an art show? This is your neighbor. Or 2200 this afternoon. Yeah, you can't. I wouldn't do anything on the equipment.
Oh, the equipment is perfect. It's
Yeah.
right, Brandon? He knows.
It's not me you gotta worry about, it's sonar.
I know.
There you go.
I don't have sonar. They have like a bathtub gym place or something.
We'll keep off the equipment. Because if I don't set a limit, you'll be riding it.
That's okay. I think I can soak everything up, man.
which would be interesting to see, but you know. So, yeah, when I come back, I want to talk about this a little bit more about the brain. There was some really interesting research by this.
Up in
He's a
10.
musician and a research. We'll come back.
To help people affected by Hurricane Harvey, your help is urgently needed.
Hi, this is Blanquita Kellum, host of The Hard Question. Join me weekdays at 4 p.m. right here on 1590 WCGO.
AM 1590 WCGO.
That's WCGO.
Whatever, Sid.
You whatever, Kerri.
Hey, safe spaces.
Yes, sir.
That's what she said.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Mike's live.
Why, if I had a brain, I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, the salt and with the rain. And my head, I'd be scratching while my thoughts were busy hatching if I only had a brain. I'd unravel every riddle.
If I had a brain, I would not have let Sid do this segment for the life of me. But it's actually
It's been very educational.
It has been
For
very
me, anyway.
educational. I wanted you're listening, by the way, to Playtime with Sid and Bill featuring
Kerri Kendall.
Like us over at that Facebook thing. You should be watching us now on Facebook Live. There's a whole bunch of people. Matt Martinez. I'm guessing there's some relation to this guy behind me. I'm just going to, I'm just throwing darts at the wall here. But Shelby Burke, Denise, Dominic Reed, Jeff Schultz, and Penny Martinez.
She's saying hi to Karen.
Karen's I'm starting to see a pattern. But Rascal Martinez coming up after the in the second hour, and he's going to finish out the show. Also, my buddy Moise Raikman from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia,
yes.
Just put out a great new song.
That is a great song.
Finish the show with that. Love Me is the name of that song, and it's got him playing a mean guitar.
I think we should finish every show with that song.
We should, and I can't wait for him to get back here. He's such a good guy. But Moise Raikman and more. In the meantime, I wanted to talk a little bit about this as we're listening to the music of Sid Yiddish and his candy store Henchmen. We're talking about musical improvisation, and that it's really a classic and historic. It's been around since people were banging on rocks, probably, to make music. Improv music defines slave music, chain gang, and prison music. We were playing some Othar Turner. The fife and drum rhythm and blues from the South. It informed Delta blues, country, jazz, blues, rock, gospel, and everything in between. And one of you mentioned jam sessions.
Yes, I did.
In rock and roll, so which is a staple.
And in jazz.
Yeah, exactly. And Rascal can speak more to that here in a bit, but. How musicians come together and find that common language is through jam sessions, and they get in that kind of cool. And your hair just looks prettier and prettier every time you turn around. Anyways, but there was a musician and researcher, Charles Lim, put jazz musicians and rappers in an fMRI and found that improvisational music affected the language and the autobiographical regions of the brain, bypassing and even shutting down the parts of the brain responsible for critique and self-reflection. In essence, making a substantial making a substantial case that creativity is truly the essence of freedom.
Wow.
And I love that. And there's a lot of research going on around the brain. We posted some things over at Playtime with Sid and Bill featuring
Kerri Kendall.
And you can go over to the Facebook page after the show. After the show, please. We're doing a show here. Please keep watching us on Facebook Live and checking this out all around the country. So hi to all of our fans out there. But back to Sid and his candy store Henchmen.
Okay. Would you like to actually? One thing is another element of our shows is hecklers. We always get a heckler. There's just no.
Oh, I can do that.
No. There's no.
I've already got a list.
There's nothing like a heckler. Yitn, you missed this one. On Friday night, for example, we had our metal player. We were having an exchange during one of our compositions, and he happened to mention a hot button topic.
Okay.
And so. There was a drunken,
we're out of time. Look at that.
Yeah, there was a drunken guy who just happened to hear that, and then he called one of our players a bigot. And it's things like that that are so golden that we just totally play off of hecklers as well.
So did you incorporate his heckle into your song with any other lyrics?
Well, not necessarily lyrics, but more like conversation.
Okay.
Banter, like our banter. But yeah, definitely. It just got heated. It got more and more heated. We weren't sure what he was going to do, but that's what you kind of play along, and you just hope.
Hope no one throws a chair.
Well, actually, that would be a great instrument. Too. It just happens. But we've had moments like where, to give an example for a jam.
By the way, you have a master's degree.
Yes, I do.
People should know that.
Yeah, I do have a master's degree in.
So there's a little bit of strategy in this.
Right, but I was trained as.
You just didn't drink a lot of cough medicine for breakfast and then show up here and.
I did actually.
Oh, well, okay.
In the 70s and the 80s, I did Dimetab in school parking lots. Anyway, there was a moment. We had another one of those sort of moments. I'm trying to remember which one has been the most.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, no, we got all that. Rascal will come back next week. You don't have to worry. Anyway, we've had a lot of those things where people think they're staged and they're actually not, or sometimes the band members themselves will be so inebriated or something like that, where they start. Yes, I'm thinking of.
I think someone just called himself out.
No, definitely not him.
Okay.
Duke Ellington was.
There you go.
Duke Ellington was certainly one, and Super Dave was certainly another one. So those two guys rival each other. But
Nice. So you're gonna.
oh yeah, that happened at a show in January. Just kind of like a frisbee, and just
Like a flying guillotine.
right and smacked him.
Oh my god.
By the way, Sid, this is the most you've said in the entirety of our show here at the 59 WCGO.
I'm loving it. I am absolutely eating it
Sid
up.
has come alive.
Seriously.
Since, what?
No. And I just wanted to say we are being strongly engaged by I think just about everybody in the North Flat.
We should get married and maybe do another composition.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Rascal
So-
the Rascal fan club is here.
No, the Rascal fan club. We will open for Rascal. We would love to open for you somewhere. But
I'm sure he's biting at the chance.
Oh well, he has become a henchman today for us. So
And yeah, absolutely.
So we'd like to this next one we'd like to do and
I'm going to stand off and
how
observe.
How many we got? At least we got till the end.
Yeah, it's 49, so we've got about 8 minutes.
Oh, good.
8.5 minutes.
Oh, good. Well,
We're not taking up the whole thing
This
with
is-
one piece. We would like people to continue listening.
All right. So this one, Rascal, you've been here since I think Friday, right? Yeah. And you had trouble with the rain, I imagine. Yesterday we had all that rain, right? Yeah, I'm sure. So driving around must be difficult, right? Okay. So, but this kind of rain is a bit much, right? So this is for Rascal. This one's for Rascal, and to all those people who suffered yesterday through the atrocities of too much rain. And this one I'd like to dedicate to Blue Movies, who couldn't be here today because he had to rush back home and take care of his lovely wife, Violet, who broke her arm. And this one's called 90-Minute Delay on the Eisenhower. Hey, you. Hey, you. Hey, buddy.
Hey, what do you want?
Hey, why aren't you moving?
I can't move. There's traffic, man.
Well, no, that's no excuse, man. That's no excuse. I know you can move. Come on, what are you doing? Sitting there all day?
Stop honking at me.
Move. Hey, you. Why are you standing there, huh?
Can't you see people in front of me?
Dude, you need to suck a tailpipe and get moving.
Honk your horn to get more out of it.
That's what you say. Hey, come on. I wasn't kidding, pal. Come on, move, man. Move. What you doing there besides drinking coffee? Huh? Huh? Oh, I don't want to know. I'm afraid I'm going to open up a bad one. Dial, dial, dial! Dial, dial, dial! Hey, move! Come on, buddy, move! Come on, get out of here! Get out! You're only standing here for like 55 minutes.
Gotta move the people ahead
Move, move! Come on, move now!
Pardon me.
That's all on you.
I think honk your horn, you'll get more out of it is going to be an earworm for me. That was fantastic.
Help, we've been taken hostage. I sort of feel like I'm in a Stanley Kubrick movie.
You are.
Maybe it's just me. Hey, you're listening to I don't know what you're listening to anymore.
You are listening to WCGO, that's 1590 AM on your radio dial.
It's not brand, man. It's 1590 WCGO.
Okay, but it's still AM.
Well, theoretically. We don't know what the hell it is, but...
It is PM, but this is AM as in a dial.
Exactly. We're going to try to pull this back together here.
Not as standing for Aston Martin or something like that.
So basically improv move, your inspiration for improv music comes from everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. That's
Okay.
how my brain works.
How often, because you've done something, you did something similar to that on my show, on another station a long time ago, and also on our buddy AJ Reed's show.
Right, yes.
And so there's a common theme here. In improv, and I guess it's like the punk band X, where they have resolved never to repeat the same song twice. Is there, if you use the same theme over and over again, is there a danger that you start falling into?
No. There's no, absolutely
Sure?
not with us. We're
Okay.
so unpredictable, really.
Well, I'll give you that.
That nobody knows what we're going to do, and that's the beauty of improv.
When you say theme, Bill, I'm sorry, are you talking about the name of the song, like when he says Walgreens or
No, that human beings by nature.
by nature
are
start
sort of
patterns develop.
Patternistic.
Right, okay.
Exactly. So if something has worked for you rhythmically or musically, does that do you ever fall in the trap of repeating something that you felt?
No, there's no way. No, there's no way.
Okay.
No possible.
Okay.
You said the lineup keeps changing.
Yeah, the lineup keeps changing. So this is.
Can you do a 30-second piece?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to set up. This is Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen. You're listening to Playtime with Sid and Bill, featuring
Kerri Kendall.
And we've got in just a couple minutes coming up with Mary Visconti talking about film. In the meantime, we've got one more little shot here listening to AM 1590 WCGO. We'll be right back.
So this is the WCGO 1590 AM outro theme.
Or as we call it, train wreck.
No, the train's on the track. Folks, come see us this weekend in Cedar Rapids at the Hive Collective, at let me think, Des Moines, at the Fremont, and Sunday night we will be in Moline, Illinois, at the Commercial Club in downtown Moline. If you want to like us on Facebook. It's under Sid Yiddish and the Candy Store Henchmen. We are very Googleable. We do not have a website yet, but I am working on it. Go to YouTube. We are there. We are Twitter. We are at Twitter, and every other possible thing you could ever imagine. Folks, we are Sid Yiddish and his Candy Store Henchmen, and we want to thank you so much for this opportunity. God bless you all.
We're clear, but we're still live on Facebook. I'll be back.
See, now we've lost Brandon. See what you did?
Our producer just walked out, folks.
He did,
Facebook Live.
he
Any
did,
producers
yeah.
out there?
Normally he goes out for a cigarette about this time. I think he's lighting up a crack pipe at this point. So.
Well, that was an education for me.
It was an education. I mean, you know, they're.
You did a great job. I'm certain of this.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure every time you perform it's an education.
I would say that any time somebody's doing something.
Thank you so much.
Of course, absolutely.
So were we